G'day mates, in today's video I want to kick off talking about some of the big team splits we've already seen in chapter 3 season 3. No more Benjy, Fishy and Mr. Savage, no more Clix and Day, no more Reet and Rex, and no more Epikwhale and Arkram. Also, you guys keep asking my thoughts on chapter 3 season 3. I want to give them to you. What do I love? What do I hate? Do I think the game is better than last season? And what would I rather see them change? So let's just jump straight into it. Before we jump into talking about the new loot pool, I did want to kick off talking about some of the big team swaps we've already had day 1 and 2 of chapter 3 season 3. We have some of the biggest teams in the world either splitting up or looking like they've split up. So most of these aren't 100% confirmed yet, but I want to kick off with Epikwhale and Reet forming a duo. It looks like potentially Epikwhale has split with Arkram and Reet has split with Snacky. We'll have to wait to see if this is confirmed. I'm basing this off the fact that they played the NA East Evaluation Cup today. They've been playing Arena today, and they did both say this was their new duo. They could just be impression farming, but it would make a lot of sense. They're both now signed to TSM. Reet and Epikwhale, out of the 4 of Arkram, Reet, Epikwhale, and Rex, they are the 2 that are grinding by far the most. Arkram seems like he's playing less and less, and Rex is, well, he's always been Rex. He pretty much only plays tournaments, so it makes sense if Reet and Epikwhale both want to take the game more seriously. They would start playing together, especially after they both just lost 2 Favs and Snacky the last 2 seasons in a row. It is very odd to go 2 seasons without either Reet or Epikwhale winning FNCS, so even though they came 2nd and 3rd respectively, that still isn't the performance I think they want. So I would not be surprised to see if Epikwhale and Reet is a real team. We'll just have to wait and see. Second up, it looks like Clix and Dave most likely will not be getting back together. We'll have to see. Clix did play the Evaluation Cup today with Hen, which is obviously an EU pro, not choosing to play with an NA pro, and this doesn't mean he's not playing with Day, so they've split up, but he did not play with Day, and Day is away. So I don't know. You have to take that one as it comes. If Day was here, would Clix play with him, or is it because Day's only just got back from DreamHack, he's trying to find a new teammate, and that's why he didn't find an NA teammate, he found an EU teammate? But a lot of us suspected that Clix and Day could potentially be splitting up even at the end of last season when Clix started playing with Threats, so my confidence already wasn't super high there. So again, we might just have to wait and see whether it plays out, but I would not be surprised if they split up as well. And last but not least, Benjy, Fishy and Mr. Savage. Now, we only have to go off the fact that Mr. Savage made a tweet saying looking for one for trios with Andretta, and again, there are teams out there who are gonna play trios with not their duo mate, but most of them it is an established duo picking up a 3rd, and that makes a trio. The fact that Mr. Savage is looking for one and isn't playing with Benjy at all and is instead playing with Andretta is a little bit strange to me. And just like with Reet and Epikwhale, even though they obviously came 2nd and 3rd, Benjy and Savage didn't really have the season they wanted last season. They both haven't been playing the game that much. Benjy's getting super into Valorant. It would make sense if Mr. Savage wants to grind the game more and potentially Benjy doesn't want to play, that maybe he's looking for teammates who do grind a little bit more. Again, all of these are just suspicions, but they are based on some level of good evidence right now. Even Vidil going so far as to say Benjy dropped because of Valorant, so I don't know if it's jokes just yet. It's none of this is confirmed, but I wanted to at least cover it because a lot of you guys are asking me about it, and they're 3 of the biggest teams in the world. All right, let's talk about it. How is the Chapter 3 Season 3 meta, in my opinion? Now, granted, I've only had 1 day to play it, so a lot of this could change. But luckily for us, we did have the Evaluation Cup today, so I was able to watch how it plays out in a more competitive setting. This was on NA East. It was open, so they had 2 hours to get top 50 in opens to then play in the set lobby finals, which would be 4 games, and top 5 teams to get $400. So it's not as serious as a cash cup, but it was a good indicator to see how the meta plays out. Now, first off, the one issue with this was the fact that heavy snipers are just spawning everywhere. I played Arena today for almost 5 hours. I found 1 single heavy sniper, and I think the only way you find it is from fishing. Some people in my chat have told me that you can find it as floor loot in Arena, but again, I played for 5 hours, didn't find a single one. So if they are, I think it's a glitch. I don't think they're meant to be in Arena, but for whatever reason, in the Evaluation Cup, they were everywhere. People were walking off spawn with like 6 of them. Like every single team had double heavy snipe, and I think that's been a big issue for evaluating the meta, because I personally really enjoy the heavy snipe. I think it's really fun. I understand people don't like it competitively because you can heavy snipe in and one pump someone is really annoying to deal with, but the worst thing about heavy snipes is double heavy snipe. When both people in your team have it, you're standing behind a fully built metal wall and you have 1 headshot, you get 1 snipe the wall, 1 headshot, you've now lost 180 health. They still don't do 200 damage headshots, which makes it a little bit more bearable, but I do understand that they are a little bit annoying when in competitive. So if they take them out, I'd be a little bit sad because I find them so fun to play in Arena. I wish we would do the opposite, have more of them in arena and less of them in tournaments. Again, split the loot pools like I've talked in the past, then create a scrim game mode. But either way, it was hard to evaluate how the heavy snipe's going to affect the current meta when there was just way too many of them. The other two things I mostly want to talk about are the shockwaves and the riftigos. If you guys don't know, shockwaves and riftigos have been added to competitive and arena, and the launch pads have been taken out. So the only mobility right now are shockwaves and riftigos. Now, I was talking in previous videos about how I wanted shockwaves added back to competitive. I'll sum up my thoughts. While I do understand they reduce the competitiveness of the game a little bit, I would argue the amount of fun they add to the game equals it out. If you watch the tournaments today, it was, in my opinion, super exciting to watch these guys going crazy with shockwave, shockwaving height, shockwave phasing in, just going absolutely nuts endgame. It means high ground is an absolute grief fest. I totally get that. Maybe we could have them only go up till a stack of 4 and you'd find them more rarely, or maybe even a stack of 2 or 3. I do understand they're super strong, but I mean, it was super fun to watch the games today, and it was a lot more fun playing arena with shockwave. So I kind of hope they stay. As far as Rifter goes, I do feel like they're a little bit cheesy. They're just really free. They take almost no skill. They're the easiest way to just get rotations and placement. And I know people's aim is way better these days. So same with launch pads, you're getting beamed out of the sky. But when there's like 30 people rifting on rotating zones, which is what some of the games today had, you're just one of 30 people in the sky. It's just the freest rotate known to man, and it takes no skill. I would much prefer the rotation in the game right now be shockwaves, bounce pads, and launch pads. I think that'd be the most balanced and fun way to do it. But again, if the Riftigos stay in the game, I have the same opinion of I just want something different. I want to watch something that looks different, and today's tournament did look significantly different. So if they don't change the loot pool for competitive, I wouldn't be too upset. My biggest issue with competitive loot pool right now, and the biggest thing I ran into today when trying to play arena and have fun, is just how clogged the loot pool is. It's even almost more clogged than what it used to be. Yes, they took out the sniper rifle in every rarity, but they added the DMR, so there's now this new AR that comes in every rarity, which honestly I'm not the biggest fan of, but I haven't played around with it too much yet. I have some pros saying they absolutely love it, and I do understand that it lets you run AR shotgun again without the need for an SMG, whereas burst rifle you still need SMG as well. So I do get why some people like it. I'm not the biggest fan, but my biggest issue right now is there's 3 shotguns in the game which come in every rarity. I only really want the striker. The double shot shotgun, I think in theory is an okay idea. I really wish I could shoot just one shot of the shotgun, but it forces you to shoot both. I also wish it did more damage to walls. It does like absolutely 0 damage to walls. The auto shotgun's the auto shotgun. It's just a worse version of the tac. I've never been the biggest fan, but some of you guys absolutely love it, so I get it. But me personally, if I'm just trying to find my favorite loadout, which is just burst AR, striker pump, and SMG, I only get it like once in every 5 to 10 games off spawn. Like I almost never find that combination of weapons, because there's pistols in every rarity that clog up the loot pool. There's 2 types of pistols every rarity. There's 2 types of SMGs. There's 3 types of shotguns. There's 2 types of ARs. There's the DMR. You see what I'm getting at, right? There's just so much loot in the loot pool that I just never find the weapons that I want. I feel like the striker pump right now is the rarest gun in the game. It is just impossible to find if you want to play with it. And I know there's an element of adapting to the gun, so I'm going to give it a little bit more time. I played around with the auto shotgun today, and I didn't absolutely hate it, so I will play around with it a bit. The biggest issue right now for most players is going to be the SMGs. If you have not liked the last 2 seasons, this season is just an extension of it. And a lot of people saying, why is Epic just not changing the loot pool at all? And I would like to remind people, if you go back to chapter 2, the loot pool this season has changed as much as it has between seasons in chapter 2, except for some of the big ones like chapter 2 season 3, where charge shotgun was added and it completely changed the game. But for the most part, when we've been in shotgun metas, not much changed around the loot pool, just they made different shotguns better and weaker. Where now, while the SMGs are in the game and they're the meta, they're just making changes to the shotguns. They're actually not, they're making the same amount of changes in this season as they have in previous seasons. They're just not changing the thing that you and I and a lot of people really want, which is the SMGs to be nerfed. So while it feels like they're not changing the loot pool that much, they're changing it about the same amount they have in the past. I think it just might be time to finally accept that you have to play with the SMGs. The SMGs are going to be an incredibly powerful weapon. Epic clearly wants to keep it that way, and they're going to. So you really do need to just adapt. And I know people hate being told to adapt. I get it. I hate it as well. I wish it could be different, but I feel like it's time to face the facts. If you want to play Fortnite, you're going to have to enjoy using the SMGs. And if you don't enjoy using the SMGs, you might have to move on, because it really looks like they're not going anywhere. It looks like Epic really wants the games to have a heavy SMG focus. Also, the burst rifles, again, I really did wish they were nerfed a little bit. I feel like this new AR is not terrible, the hammer AR. It just doesn't hold up to the burst when it comes to surge and long range fights, because the burst is just so insanely strong. I would have been quite excited to see that toned down a little bit, but overall, that kind of sums up my thoughts so far when it comes to arena. Pubs, I am enjoying. Pubs are really, really fun. The amount of stuff they've added for the casual element, these new plans, these new POIs, there's a whole bunch of crazy stuff in pubs that I'm really, really enjoying. And honestly, right now it's a game, it's a season that caters towards casuals right now. So if you're really motivated to grind competitive and play arena, it is going to be a little bit rough if you don't like the current loot pool, because I think in preseason they'll make some adjustments. I could easily see them taking heavy snipers out of tournaments. I could see them taking shockwaves out of tournaments. I don't know if they'll take Riftigos out, but that means there's going to be no mobility, which I find to be some of the most miserable seasons. Whether you argue it's competitive or not, I just find it so incredibly boring to play and to watch. So I hope that doesn't happen, but it might be time, maybe if you are grinding the game seriously, try to switch your perspective, try to jump in pubs, try to just have some fun with it. It's really, really fun right now just messing around with all the crazy cool new stuff in pubs, but I totally get it when people aren't enjoying arena and competitive, because I'm in a similar boat myself. Alright guys, that does it for another video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please chuck a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.